Evening, guys. This video is for Kim Smith. Had a couple questions on YouTube and Classic Camp Stoves. She's gotten one of these Model Zero kerosene burners, and she's had a couple issues with it, and I'm going to send her out a couple little pieces and just sort of reiterate my experience. Once I dealt with a couple of issues that I have with this one, or that I've had with this one, this has been a pretty decent stove. From the very beginning, I mean, this is not first world production. You know, if you look at something that Optimus is putting out, even if they're putting it out in the Far East, their factories are a slightly different standard. This is a handmade item. It's based on a pretty well proven design. And it's not incredibly complex, but sometimes the execution is really the thing. First issue that she had was an issue I had with, I think I have 3 of these stoves, and I had this issue with at least 1, maybe 2 of them, was that the pump leathers that come with it, this is one of the pump leathers that it came with. I don't think it's the one that's in it, because they give you some spares. But these things are very thin, and they're very dry, almost like cardboard, they feel like. And I didn't have very good luck with mine, but I had one of these ones from Sifauti. Now, if you will notice when you look through here, if I can get it to focus, will it focus there? We'll see. The holes are not exactly the same size, and basically I just worked it until it fit, basically. I don't know how else to put that. And then make sure you soak it in some oil, and like 3-in-1 oil works really well. It might even revitalize this one, and probably by the time you get this, you might have tried it with this one, so you'll know whether that works or not. But let me point something out here. This is the same one. See if that'll focus. It looks like this one is a lot larger than this one, but they're really out of the same lot of Seifa's leathers. This one in the middle and the one that's on the actual shaft. It looks a lot thicker, and that's just because it's soaked up a bunch of oil. So I like Seifa's leathers a lot, so I'm going to throw one of those in. And when I put these back in, come on, focus, you little jerk. Okay. What I like to do when I put them back in is I put it in like this, and then I kind of feed it with my fingers until it's just like a little bit at the tip, and then you just work it around a little bit, and it goes in. And this is getting a nice solid purchase there on the side of the pump shaft. And then tighten those down. This is tight. And this is getting some nice good pressure, as you can see. Okay, let the rest of that out. Now, the other thing is the reserve cap right here. That was pretty stupid. When in doubt, leave your vent tube open. Alright, so I just spilled some kerosene on my carpet. It's not the first time, probably won't be the last. Anyway, you can kind of see, I mean, in my other video I looked at this too. Putting this O-ring on here, and I've got a couple of these I'm going to send you. That really makes it a good seal, good enough that you can rely on it. If you had this packed away, that it wouldn't be leaking. Just tighten it down, nip it down a little bit with that, and then shut this off, and that's good. Now, as to leaks from the burner, okay, I haven't had any issues with this burner leaking. One of my on my 40, or not 45, on my 100, which is basically like an Optimus 45, it uses the same burner as this. and it was leaking somewhere either underneath here or in here. There's a fiber washer that you can kind of see a little bit. And there's supposed to be one down there, and there's supposed to be one right there. On this one, I don't really see one under here, but I haven't had an issue with it leaking. But like I said, on the 100, I did have an issue with it leaking. And what I did, and I'll give you a couple of these too, see if that'll help. This is from the Fettle box. All right. Large burner washer. So if you need to, you can take this apart with 2 wrenches, one here and one here, and you can remove this part. This is a piece, this is a piece, and this is a piece. Okay, so they screw together here, and that's a place where you can lose pressure. If it's true what you're actually saying in your message, I don't want you to get the idea I wasn't reading what you said. If it's leaking from here, I'm not really sure what to do next, other than you could contact Shirlene and see if they can get you another one of these pieces right here. If the problem's with the tank, I don't know. One thing that you could do to double check exactly where it's leaking, once you get it all nipped up really tight, is you could try the old soapy water trick to see where it's leaking. You have to, with these stoves, you have to actually get them running first, but once they're running, you could probably brush some soapy water on the bottom and see if you got bubbles coming out of it, and where that would be. But like I said, on my model 100, I had it. It was leaking from either here or here, and when it was in operation, it would lose pressure. I have to pump it a lot, until I added 2 of these, and then it was fine. And it is frustrating. You buy something new and you want it to work. But like I said, I think I've been pretty open from the beginning that there might be issues with these, and none of those issues that I laid out are incredibly hard to deal with if you can figure them out. But like I said, if there's a problem with the threads in the tank or the threads in the riser tube, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about that. But the other issues, you might be able to deal with. And then once you deal with them, you get a pretty reliable stove, for not a ton of money. In your original message that you sent me, you're saying, well, should I get the Model 00, or the Model 0, sorry, or the Optimus Hiker Plus? The Hiker Plus is bound to be a higher quality option out of the gate. Is it as nice as the 111 triple fuel? I don't think it is. It's a little bit nicer than the Nova, I would say, because you don't have the failure point of the hose. But other than that, it's basically a Nova burner. You could add on to it. You could get one of those silent caps for it. From Gary Adams over at Blue Water. But what are you looking at that? You're looking at $150, $160, $170, for a Hiker Plus. Whereas this and a little bit of fiddling, you could probably be doing something just as capable for a lot less money this way. Just a little bit of frustration. So that's the way I look at it. I'll get you some of these parts out to you and see if they'll help you out, and then I guess go from there. If it's something that you need to contact Shirlene about, I'm sure she'll take care of you. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Oh, I was going to just point out here, I've done a video on this in the past, but this is sort of my sort of Fettle box, my box where I keep all my parts, and got everything sort of organized here. And this is where the leathers came out of, and nitrile O-ring washers for Liberty Rocket travel caps, blah blah. Where the nitrile O-rings came from was this. I got this years ago at Harbor Freight, and it was $7 or $8, and it's just got all kinds of different sizes in there, and like I've got one over here. like this one right here, these ones came out of here, but they are the ones that fit in my 111 triple fuel with the dreaded O-ring plunger. The O-ring plunger isn't half as bad if you have a fresh O-ring on it as it is if you have a worn out O-ring on it. But leather is definitely better. So yeah, this is basically where this all comes from, and a little bit of jiggity pokery, and hopefully we can get you a good stove. Thanks for watching.